Today on Investigate TV Plus, overlooked.
You count on emergency rooms, you count on specialists, you count on tests, you count on all of this stuff.
A court finds 2 doctors failed for hours to diagnose a young man suffering from a grave medical condition.
Jonathan was having a stroke when he came to the hospital, and they missed it.
We take an in-depth look at one of the most common misdiagnoses in the ER. Plus,
these are signs that you immediately need to seek treatment for.
we show you the symptoms and simple phrase that could help save a life.
Then countless cons with common threads.
He kept saying, don't call anybody, don't talk to anybody.
Scams are designed to target not only your wallet, but also your mind. We provide insight into some of the most common types of schemes and provide solutions to protect you and your loved ones from becoming prey.
And Boeing Home,
Thrust levers, engine 1, engine 2, engine 3.
a retired jet's final destination, marks the origin of an innovative second life.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. It's considered an enormous public health problem, with hundreds of thousands of Americans experiencing one every year. But despite the prevalence, researchers at Northwestern University say over the past 10 years, 1 in 10 strokes goes misdiagnosed. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. In many cases, a patient's mild, nonspecific symptoms, such as headache, vertigo, or the inability to answer questions, can prompt a misdiagnosis and lead to serious health consequences. Investigative reporter Sierra Cummings uncovers how missed symptoms and delayed treatment resulted in irreversible brain damage for a young Georgia man and heartbreak for his family.
We do work really hard to keep at least 2 months ahead.
Jack Buckaloo gives us a tour of his garage.
And as you can see,
Not just any supplies,
it's a lot of stuff.
an inventory of life-saving medical tools
We created an ICU, honestly.
for his son, Jonathan. October 2015, during a chiropractic appointment, Jonathan became dizzy and disoriented, over time becoming less responsive. He was rushed to North Fulton Hospital's emergency room. There, 2 doctors missed key signs, failing to properly diagnose him. A court found the 2 doctors, an ER physician and a radiologist, were grossly negligent. That the ER doctor did not mention to the consulting neurologist Jonathan had seen a chiropractor earlier, that he experienced a second seizure-like event, and that the radiologist missed information on a scan. The chiropractor, the hospital, and other clinical staff were not found liable in this case. But Jonathan was having a stroke, one that went undiagnosed and untreated for 12 hours. It was nearly a decade ago, but ever since, Jonathan lives like this.
You count on hospitals, you count on emergency rooms, you count on specialists, you count on tests, you count on all of this stuff. And treatments never really came until way, way, way too late.
As a result, he now has locked-in syndrome, a neurological disorder where a person is conscious and aware but unable to move or speak due to complete paralysis of nearly all muscles except the eyes.
Just a lot of pain. It's in spite of his spirit, which keeps us going, because he wants to do things, he wants to go places, it just breaks our heart to see him like he is.
Jonathan is an adult, but even at 34 years old, his family and team of nurses care for him 24/7. He cannot talk, but he can communicate by blinking and using his nose to type on a keypad.
There's some days where he's like, pull the plug. So those are the tough days.
But this day is not like that.
Hi, Jonathan.
Mom says Jonathan wants to engage with us.
Did you like the orange chicken? Oh.
One blink means yes.
He is fun. The nurses really love
Yes.
John.
We love Jonathan.
They all say he's just the best to work for.
He's the favorite.
This is Jonathan's exercise room.
Their entire home reconfigured to accommodate Jonathan's needs, from his bedroom to the physical therapy area to the main living space, which includes his favorite spot, in front of the fish tank, mesmerized by the motion. Expenses covered by what Jonathan's attorney says is one of the largest ER malpractice verdicts in Georgia history.
Jonathan was having a stroke when he came to the hospital, and they missed it. The ER doctor saw that this patient was having all these signs and symptoms of stroke and never called a stroke alert. They didn't follow their policies and procedures.
A jury agreed, awarding the family $75 million. When the ER doctor appealed, an appellate court affirmed the ruling against him.
We know that doctors are going to make mistakes. So it's critical that the hospital develop policies and procedures and protocols that will mitigate or reduce those mistakes.
30 to 50% of the time, minor strokes are currently missed, according to Johns Hopkins research. That same data found overall diagnostic errors, known as any missed, incorrect, or delayed diagnosis, affect 12 million Americans, 1/3 of people medically harmed as a result. People like Jonathan, who once played nearly every sport, always active, but now his body may never move on its own again.
I really feel like there's no real justice for somebody who lost everything. For the most part, lost every aspect of his life. I guess it's way past the anger, and the frustration. Just really focusing on, what can we do? How can we keep him as happy as possible? How can we give him the best life possible?
The ER physician filed an appeal with the Georgia Supreme Court, but in June 2025, Georgia's highest court decided not to review the appeal's decision, so the lower court's decision remains, and this case cannot be appealed to the Georgia Supreme Court again. At the time of this incident, North Fulton Hospital was owned by Tenet Healthcare. Tenet Healthcare did not respond to requests for comment. However, the company was found not liable.
And remember, be fast to check for signs of stroke. B for balance, whether it's dizziness or not being able to walk. E is for eyes. Is there blurred or double vision? F stands for facial drooping, while A is for arm numbness. S means to check for slurred speech or confusion. And T is time. Call 911 if you notice these symptoms.
Still to come, an ominous warning.
That FBI is involved in this and that he's calling to help me.
And the reality behind it.
She said, ma'am, this is a scam.
We expose the common tricks and tactics scammers use to con their victims and solutions to help you avoid them.
Then later, they're replanting the seeds to help flowers flourish in the Louisiana swamp.
If you're faced with a species that could possibly be totally destroyed, that definitely gives you motivation.
We take you on a rescue mission to conserve a rare treasure.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms.
Every day, it seems you're hearing about a new and different scheme trying to steal your hard-earned money.
But as reporter Alex Flippin explains, you might want to pay less attention to the new and different and more to what sounds like the same old scam.
Stop me if you've heard this.
Tonight, a warning to be on the lookout for
a new scam.
New scam making the rounds.
That's targeting pet owners,
targeting seniors, anyone of any age.
As soon as we catch on to the old way they're scamming us, all of a sudden there's a new way we need to know about to stay one step ahead. Take it from these people.
Get this phone call that
literally said it had my bank's number on there.
It sounded legitimate.
Very authentic.
Very, very real.
He kept saying, don't call anybody, don't
talk to anybody.
He just kept pushing that.
It may sound like they're all talking about the same exact scam, but they're not. Sonia Schmidt is talking about a job scam, and Janet is talking about a Medicare scam. They're both up in Wisconsin. Now, we also heard from Rick Saros. who was describing what is called a bench warrant scam. He's down in Louisiana. And Cindy Miles in Kansas, she's talking about a bank imposter scam.
I'm amazed how strategic, I guess, would be the word that the scammers are these days.
For years, Cindy has worked in the nonprofit sector, and sitting in an office littered with items soon to be offered up at various charity auctions, she says that hardly makes her an expert on scams. Except
I am so paranoid, and I think I become more paranoid as life goes on and more people try to scam me in more ways.
Years ago, Cindy considered applying for a promising new job she'd seen in the nonprofit sector, but recognized it was just a scam trying to get at her personal information. And while the job part of the scam may have been a first for her, she realized the scheme to obtain her financial info was no different than a lot of the scams she already knew about.
She wanted my account number, and I thought, well, shouldn't she have my account number? Like, why would I give her my account number?
That's a question Better Business Bureau's Josh Planos wishes a lot more people would ask themselves before handing that info over to a stranger.
Decisions we never would make. We make very regularly when we're put or forced into a situation that we feel like we can't get out of.
Plano says he sees it all the time, but he also sees similarities between the scams you can use to spot them.
The through lines are so consistent with the scams that have been reported to us.
He says people are often tricked into giving up personal details when bad actors tell them it's necessary to prevent some big scary thing from happening. Laura Prowitz gave up her account number when she was told it was necessary to prevent her bank account from being wiped out.
Said that FBI is involved in this and that he's calling to help me.
Which sounds a lot like the scary thing Kathy Dietrich heard when she responded to a phishing email and was told all her money was at risk.
He kept saying, don't call anybody, don't talk to anybody.
And that sounds a lot like the secrecy scammers tried to use in that bench warrant scam Rick Serro talked about.
You have to stay active on your cell phone. You cannot hang up the phone.
All different cons, but with similar hallmarks. Other red flags, anyone asking for your social security number or trying to rush you to act quickly.
I would say urgency is a hallmark of every type of scam. Scammers would not be very good at what they do if they didn't create that sense of urgency, if they kept you on the phone for an extended period of time, if they didn't make it feel like you needed to act then in the moment.
That thing about keeping you on the phone, that's another red flag. Plano says people trying to steal your money will often instruct you not to talk to anyone else but them. If you do, the scheme may fall apart for them, just like it did when Laura Prowitz did talk to a bank employee.
And she said, ma'am, she said, this is a scam.
Or when Rick's wife called a cop friend.
She said, tell him to turn around. It's a scam. Hang up the phone.
And Kathy Dietrich called her daughter.
I got a text from my sister. Hey, mom's being scammed right now.
So when in doubt, phone a friend, especially if that friend is Cindy Miles.
Suddenly I just cut her off and I said, nope, I'm not giving you any information. I will call my bank. I will talk to them personally and find out what's going on.
Good advice.
Here's the red flag checklist. If the person makes a claim about someone being arrested or all your accounts being hacked, things may not be what they seem. If you feel rushed to make decisions, slow things down and think before acting. And if a person you don't know tells you not to talk to anyone but them, just hang up.
Still ahead, the afterlife of an aircraft. We explore how a retired pilot navigated a second-hand solution for a scrapped passenger jet.
But first, a rare red iris.
Look around. You don't have this anywhere. It's peaceful.
We provide insight into efforts to preserve this beautiful blossom.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes.
Rare, red, and found naturally in only one place in the world.
The Iris nelsoni, also known as the Abbeville Red Iris, was first discovered in the 1930s in the swamps of Vermilion Parish near Abbeville, Louisiana. Since its discovery, conservationists say its future survival in the wild is cause for concern.
Reporter Dave McNamara gives us insight into efforts to protect the iris.
Gary Salath is on a rescue mission of sorts, walking through a backyard swamp near Abbeville.
If you're faced with a species that could possibly be totally destroyed, that definitely gives you motivation. Look how pretty that one is.
Salath looks like he's found gold, but this treasure is a deep red flower, the Abbeville Red Iris, that grows naturally here and no place else in the world.
What did you think the first time you walked back up in here and you saw all of these rare Abbeville Red Irises?
I thought there'd be more. Imagine something that beautiful just being growing out in a while. It's a native plant. Nobody planted it. Been here for centuries, probably.
Salath is part of the Louisiana Iris Conservation Initiative. The group's goal is to preserve the state's native irises.
We saw that irises were being killed, mostly from development or parishes spraying ditches with herbicide.
For years, volunteers have moved threatened irises to public boardwalk areas, like the Barataria Preserve near Marrero, the Big Branch Marsh in Lacombe, and the Joyce Wildlife Management Area near Ponchatoula, which has perhaps the largest collection of native irises. But the Abbeville Red, named the Iris nelsoni, has only recently moved from private swampland to a public nature walk in nearby Palmetto Island State Park.
It was natural swamp already, so, when they built it, they built the boardwalk over top of it, and we were lucky to be able to get our Iris Nelson planted out here.
The annual spring bloom lasts only 2 to 3 weeks. This time lapse shows how quickly an iris opens in only 8 minutes. The small swamp seems to be a perfect home for the rare flower.
It's native in a piece of swamp that's probably about 4 miles northeast of where we're standing right now.
Ed Wilhelm is a garden club member and one of the volunteers who has helped clear the park swamp of invasive plants and replace them with young Abbeville red irises.
Why is it so important to you that these kinds of plants and flowers in spaces like this are preserved?
Look around. You don't have this anywhere. It's peaceful. You can sit down and just hear the birds chirping, maybe a frog croaking, see the sunlight shafting through the trees.
The red irises are moved by harvesting seeds from private land, then growing the seedlings in a greenhouse and eventually planting them in the state park. It's a slow process that can take a year or two to produce blooming flowers. The hope is that this rare flower will attract visitors.
Holland has the tulips. Abbeville has the Abbeville Red Iris.
I absolutely love an iris. I think they're so pretty. I first got to see them when I worked at the flower shop making floral arrangements.
Look at you making floral arrangements in a shop.
Never saw a red one though.
Never saw a red one? Okay, well you just saw it. Well, we need to see them in person because it's very peaceful and beautiful out there too.
Peaceful and pretty.
Yes.
Well, another form of conservation has an Oregon man living on a wing and a prayer. Up next, how a retired passenger plane inspired him to let his dream home take flight.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. It's free to download.
What may seem like a very plain idea could be a solution to the construction crunch.
A lifelong interest in aerospace technology and footage of an aircraft boneyard in the Arizona desert inspired a man named Bruce to take a different approach to his retirement. Reporter Bonnie Silkman shows how he converted a retired passenger jet into his very own Boeing Home.
Tucked away in the woods near Portland is something unexpected. A quick glimpse of windows, wheels, and wings all hiding in plain sight. But this is no crash landing. It's home for a man named Bruce.
When you're in a fully intact, really beautiful aircraft, it's a thing of glory.
Complete with a cockpit, airline seats, and flight controls, this is a retired Boeing 727, and it sat here in the woods of Oregon for 25 years.
It's a glorious structure.
But why is this massive jet sitting here? And how did it get here? That's where our friend Bruce comes into the picture.
I'm Bruce Campbell, same as the actor Bruce Campbell.
This Bruce Campbell is a quirky electrical engineer and former pilot.
I'm in the flight deck. This is the control center
central for the aircraft.
Who loves living in this retired multi-million-dollar jet.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Thrust levers, engine 1, engine 2, engine 3.
Whoa. The fact that this is actually, you can still move it.
Yeah, people love it.
In case you haven't picked up on it, Bruce has always had a passion for planes.
Ever since my first breath, literally, because I was born next to an Air Force base.
The aft cabin area I live in, the futon sofa with the purple blanket, it's my sleeping surface.
I love the see-through floors.
It does spook some of my guests. This is an amusement for guests.
And I see we have the original seats.
Yeah, they were in this aircraft, but this aircraft was all tourist class.
Bruce bought the plane from a salvage company in 1999 for $100,000.
This aircraft had a noteworthy flight. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Keister was in one of my seat cushions, and Ted Kennedy as well, and a bunch of other dignitaries of the time.
After it was flown from Greece to Oregon, it was hauled here in pieces. Then Bruce's formerly flying home touched down right here for its final destination 25 years ago, back when our crews first visited. Since then, Bruce has planted hundreds of trees, weaving the plane into a cozy canopy that leaves passing pilots and visitors in complete awe.
Guests come every day with very, very few exceptions.
His life inside the jet reflects his philosophy.
There will come a day on planet Earth when we don't destroy any jetliners ever again, when they're all utilized as homes or small businesses or emergency provision shelters.
And giving it new life is his way of honoring the craftsmanship and innovation that once made it fly high.
The majority of them are flown to a scrapyard where they're shredded, and our team's goal is to put that entirely to an end.
They're really amazing, and it's a shame to see them destroyed.
And that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching. On the next Investigate TV Plus, screening is most effective for preventing a common form of cancer in women, but
just ask any woman, do you enjoy the pap smear? And they would just kind of like grimace.
We take an in-depth look at solutions improving access and removing some of the barriers to early detection.